Just as I start to film, it is 1:11 on the dot. Anyway, I thought we could talk about a little something today while I try out this TikTok. Y'all have seen this. Y'all have seen this, I'm sure. It's the Jill face scraper thing. And so I bought it and we're going to try it. But I thought we could also talk about the concept of loneliness from a spiritual perspective. What is loneliness, why you feel lonely, and how to stop feeling lonely so you can move forward with your damn life. Obviously not sponsored, and hi, welcome to my real face. Did I scare you? Probably. Anyway, so I got the legit one. I got the actual Jill shave thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's the white blonde lady and she's like got all that facial hair and it looks amazing. Anyway, I got the real thing. I didn't get the dupe Jill. Okay. So we're going to do this while we talk about the concept of loneliness. Because I feel like I can't believe I've never actually done a video on this concept, this idea. And I learned about it a long time ago from Abraham Hicks. So, if you don't know who that is, first of all, do you live under a rock? Abraham Hicks is how do I even explain? Just look them up. Okay, I'm sure most of you have, but they are kind of like the start. If you ever saw The Secret, Law of Attraction, it blew everybody's minds when The Secret came out. Yeah, so Rhonda Byrne, the woman who made the documentary The Secret, she learned everything she knew from Esther Hicks. And there's that. So, if you don't know who that is, please look them up. Abraham Hicks is my personal guru. They were my, what's it called? Gateway drug to spirituality. I was like, what do you mean I can have whatever I want by thinking positive thoughts? I'm sorry? So, anyway. All right. I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to do this up close. Did I say not sponsored? Because hashtag not sponsored, but I wish I friggin' was. Anyway, so let's try this. So, loneliness. Often this happens, 222 as I say that. Often this feeling of loneliness comes up when we feel like, well, first of all, when you've been dumped, or you just have this feeling of like, I really miss this person, or I really miss my relationship, or I miss that feeling of being with somebody, right? And it can be really consuming. It can be this all powerful feeling of desperately longing for something, typically from the past, but maybe it's also a longing for something that you've never experienced. Maybe it's a longing for something that you would like to see or like to have in the future, right? So it's this feeling of aloneness. It's this feeling of separateness. And I think in a lot of ways, the feeling of loneliness, it comes from this place of almost FOMO, right? We are really scared that our life is passing us by, that we're missing out on these precious assumed life experiences that we think everybody should have, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this doesn't have to be for a person, okay? This can be for feeling abundant, money, right? Maybe you're somebody who, this is a very random thing and I don't know who this is for, but maybe you were one of those kids who got to go to a private school on scholarship. And so all of your friends who had money to go, right, to this private school, not on scholarship, had money. And you grew up around that. You grew up around rich people. Always this feeling of like never belonging, right? So that's just something. Maybe you're somebody who's never really had a long-term relationship and you would like to have somebody to go and do adventures with. You would like to have somebody that you could travel with. And you have this feeling of like, woe is me. Why am I always the one who is being left out, right? So essentially that's loneliness. But let me tell you something, baby. And when I figured this out, it changed my life because I was hyper codependent at that time when I figured out this information. So I was probably like early 30s, late 20s, something like that. And definitely felt like I had been left out in a lot of ways. More than one, So when I found out this information, it changed not only my perspective, changed my life. Because essentially, what loneliness is, you don't miss the other person. You're not missing the other person. You think you are. You've placed this label of loneliness, of missing something on another person. But it's not them. It's not them. So, all loneliness ever is that feeling of lack. Whether you're lonely for money, you're lonely for a person, you're lonely for a relationship, etc., etc. Okay? All loneliness ever is, all it means is you're too far from source. Whether you call that creator, God, universe, whatever label, whatever name you slap on it, you're too far from your higher self energetically. That's the only reason you ever feel lonely. So that actual feeling of loneliness, which here's a good thing too. Many of us have addiction issues. Many of us have escapism issues. We don't like the feeling of the void, right? And so we'll sleep it away. We'll try to exercise it away, spend it away, hopping on Amazon and spending $500 on stuff you don't even need. Overeating, eating those 12 tacos and 5 burritos from Taco Bell in one sitting, eating a pizza and a half in one sitting, reconnecting with toxic people, binge watching Outlander for 3 days and doing nothing else, right? Y'all remember Big Bang Theory, that episode with Penny when she got really into video games because she was trying to escape her own life? Yeah. It's because we don't like the feeling of the void, which is where all the magic is, but that's another topic for another conversation. So, that's all it is. And to prove that point, I'm going to tell you right now. Anyway, sorry guys, I got interrupted. I had to go help the husband find something for the vacuum, one of the attachments. And his wife has ADHD, and sometimes she puts things and then never finds them again. So it took us about an hour. Sorry, babe. Anyway, so loneliness. All it ever is you're too far away from source. Now, to prove that point, I want you to think about this, okay? It's been 3 days since the quote-unquote love of your life broke up with you, okay? And you are eyeball deep in the sad Adele songs, watching Hallmark movies, okay? And awake at 3 a.m. crying on the bathroom floor, and you're so lonely you think you're going to explode, okay? We're deep in the sadness. We're deep in the loneliness, okay? And then somebody knocks on your door, and you open it, and they're standing there with one of those huge checks, and they're like, congratulations, you've won an all expenses paid plus $50K, a check for $50,000, and you get to go to the Bahamas for 6 months. You get $50K, you go to the Bahamas, all paid, and you got 50 grand to spend. Are you still going to be sitting there crying over your recent horrible J name ex? Because we all know it's the J names. So, no, you're going to be packing a bag so damn fast, you're out of there, right? So it's not really about the person. That feeling that you're feeling, that feeling of loneliness, is just telling you you're too far away to be able to find that good feeling place to move forward. You're too far away from your higher self. You're too far away from the divine. And the question then becomes, okay, so when I'm in that dark place, right? When I'm in that utterly sad, depressed, down place, how do I find source? How do I find it? Ooh, choo choo choo, as I pause that. So, how do I get back into alignment? I would say it depends. A lot of people would tell you, like, just reach for a better feeling thought, which is true. But if you're anything like me, when you're down in the dumps and you are really trying to get yourself out and you try your best to think a better feeling thought, you're just going to be friggin' annoyed. You're just going to be like, when life has tanked and somebody's like, just think of puppies. It's like the chola in me wants to come out and I want to punch stuff. And as Abraham Hicks says, you can't get there from there. You can't find high vibe from a place of low vibe. You can't get there from there. So when you're in these moments of grief and you want to find that place of divinity, you want to find that place of, I just want to feel safe, right? I just want to feel good. I want to feel protected and I want to feel guided and I want to be excited about life, right? Very far from where you are. So here's what I want you to do. Whatever the thing is, right? Whatever the thing is that you are trying to get to, or whatever the thing is that you feel like you've lost, I want you to take or get into a space of plotting revenge. Because revenge, anger, rage feels a lot better than depression. With rage, with anger, that's passion, that's fire. It'll get you up off the couch. It'll get you to turn off Adele, okay? It'll get you instead to turn on Rage Against the Machine, okay? So, and it may feel counterintuitive that to get to divinity, right, to get to source, to get to the divine, that you have to go from grief to rage. But again, you can't get there from there, okay? So we're going to get to a place where we are plotting revenge. As I've always said, Khloe Kardashian him sis. It feels a lot better to be plotting, to be visualizing how you're going to one-up somebody, how you're going to prove somebody wrong, how, when, Daddy Starseed and I were in our separations, that was what I focused on. People always ask me, like, how are you able to, call him back so quick? I envisioned myself on Good Morning America, flanked by Oprah and Gayle. If y'all don't believe me, go back and watch some of my old manifesting videos where I had a picture of Oprah and Gayle literally on my vision board. And he was watching me in this house. He was watching me on TV. And when I tell you, that thought brought me so much joy, so much, that it got me focused, laser focused on what I wanted, how I was going to manifest, how I could take what I was feeling and teach it to y'all. And it got me going. It got me out of feeling sad. It got me out of missing him, even though I knew that I wasn't really missing him. I was missing my connection to source. Because when you are aligned with your team, with your guides, with your higher self, you feel unstoppable. The ideas are flowing. The creativity is there. You're excited. You're like, oh my God, what if I could do this? Oh my God, what if I could do that? Oh, I got to research this. You're unstoppable, okay? It's almost like you feel manic because you're so on top of the world, okay? That's how you know when you're in alignment. When you're out of alignment, you feel disconnected. You feel depressed. You feel like, I got to get away from the void, right? I got to get away from that feeling of emptiness, which is really where the magic is, but that's another conversation for another time. So that's how you get there from there. And remember this, put this in your back pocket, because it's going to save you so much time, everybody. It's going to save you so much time, okay? In the face of loss, rejection, abandonment, betrayal, just feeling sad, when you just feel like lost, and really that feeling of abandonment, right? And you're lonely for even being younger. Sometimes I feel lonely for my child self who didn't have to worry about nothing. She could just be in imagination land. She could be her true blue Pisces self. Sometimes I'm lonely for that. And so I find a way to tap into that energy of feeling carefree, of feeling like I can be myself, like I'm back in that childhood backyard, right? And I can just climb trees and be my damn self. And So if you can teach yourself how to do that, if you can really tap in and learn how to identify not the thing, what is the feeling that's at the core of what you're lonely for? If it's a person, if you're feeling lonely for a person, you're lonely for connection. Here's another thing, speaking of addiction, that, the escapism that we use to try to get away from the void because it feels uncomfortable and scary. Especially those of you who struggle with overeating, okay? Usually when we're in that pre-binge, when we're getting ready to binge, right? Because we feel so uncomfortable, et cetera, we want to get out of the body because I'm not okay here. We want to escape. Usually you're going to order something or go get something like cupcakes, pizza, mac and cheese, and the all-time favorite, ice cream, right? So they've done studies on this, and I learned this in a class that I took with Marissa Peer, who's fabulous. But in that class, she said, when you're overeating, you reach for something dairy-based. You reach for something creamy. She says, any idea why? You're craving mother's milk. You're craving someone taking care of you, someone caring enough about you to feed you, nurture you, and comfort you. That's what you're craving. You're craving safety, you're craving connection, you're craving your mother. Let that sink in. We're back with my filter because I'm done face shaving. By the way, it's really good. I like it. It was pretty cheap. I think it was like $25 for a monthly refill, and I do the face shaving a lot, so yeah, I would say worth it. Great. I like it. Anyway, so that's how you find the cure out of loneliness. That's how you find your way out of that feeling of nothingness or like you're dead inside. You're not dead inside. You're not missing anybody. You're missing your connection to source. You're missing that feeling of not aloneness, that feeling of union, that feeling of togetherness. That's what you're really missing. And if you can't find your way to feeling better, reach for rage. Khloe Kardashian him says. And then from there, you're going to start feeling better. You're not going to stay there forever. Most of you will never actually enact revenge plans. It's just a helpful tool to get you feeling like your life is over. You feel me? So I hope this was helpful for somebody, and thanks for being here, and I love you guys so much, and have a great day. Okay, bye.